honest, I mean, I've talked about this before. Some of the bass player lists have been unbelievably, or I should say some of these top 5 lists have been unbelievably difficult for me, like the last couple weeks with singers and guitar players. This one, there were a couple tough cuts, but it was not as hard as any of the past weeks for sure. But that's not to say there weren't tough cuts, because there were. So let me grab my list here. Hold on a second. And I'm going to give you my 5, and then we'll get right into your list for most of the show, and I'll get as many in as I can. So here you go with mine. I start at number 5 with a man that I refer to as the Keith Richards of bass, because it's amazing to most that he is still among the living. He is, if you've read his book, which is called Fast Ride Out of Here, it's really amazing he's still alive. A character, a great stage performer, a lovable guy, and I truly, truly love his bass playing. He's got these sort of slides and stuff in his bass playing that is just really very cool to me and always was. And of course, he is a founding member and bass player of one of my all-time favorite bands, UFO, and that would be Pete Way, coming in at the number 5 spot. Pete was a huge influence on a lot of bass players, none more so than maybe Steve Harris of Iron Maiden, who will openly tell you of his love for UFO and how Pete Way influenced him. Now, also, I love the band that Pete did after leaving UFO called Wasted. They did a few albums, went through a few different style changes, but man, they did a record called Vices that I absolutely loved. Big, loud, dirty rock record. So Pete Way at number 5. I miss him to death in UFO. He hasn't been in the band for a while. He has battled well-documented issues with alcohol and substances. That's why I say it's truly amazing he is still alive. And, you know, had issues getting into the country with his visa. Just a crazy story. Read his book if you never did and you want an insane rock and roll story. So Pete Way, I mean, if he was technically a better bass player in terms of just musician-y, he would be way higher, but he's not about that. He's about attitude. He's about performance. And I do love his playing. So I'm putting Pete at number 5. At number 4, I just mentioned this guy,